Alright Pistons fans, so I'm doing another draft video and the second round draft target of Isaiah Livers. Now Isaiah Livers is Michigan bred, someone out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. He ended up going to the University of Michigan's basketball team, the Wolverines. He played there. I'm a Wolverines fan, so I'm excited to finally do a video on him. This has been heavily requested, so let's get into this. So Isaiah Livers is a forward. He's 6'7", 230 pounds, and he's 22 years old, and he's also projected somewhere around 47th in this upcoming draft. So he's a second round projected guy. So I'm going to give you guys the stats, then I'm going to give you the positives, then I'm going to give you the negatives, and then I'm going to wrap it up with my conclusion and how I feel about the Pistons possibly selecting someone like Isaiah Livers. So the stats for Isaiah Livers, he averaged 13 points, 6 rebounds, and he shot 43% from the three-point line this past season. So I'm going to start off with the positives. The first thing that I love about Isaiah Livers is absolute shooting ability. He has a nice jump shot. It's not the quickest in the world, but he gets it off, and when he shoots it, it usually goes in. He has a pretty good three-point shot. Someone who you could put in the corner to hit a three-point shot, someone off a pick and roll, off-ball screens, who can catch and shoot the ball and hit the three-pointer. He is someone overall, his shooting ability, really solid. And adding it to this Pistons squad, a team that's going to be in need of shooting with someone like Killian Hayes who can't really shoot yet, and with Killian Hayes being a passer and getting someone like Cade Cunningham, surrounding these guys with shooters, someone like Isaiah Livers will be pretty beneficial for them. The next point that I wanted to mention is straight dog factor. This is a guy who I feel like is going to add a lot of toughness, actually a lot of needed toughness to this Pistons squad. He's going to come in, he's going to be a guy who can add us some grit and grind to the Pistons. So in terms of adding a straight dog to the Pistons squad, that fits someone like Isaiah Livers. Now his defense is not really his strong suit. I would say he's slightly above average on defense, but I did want to mention it here because it is something that I guess you could consider a positive of his game. Now, before I get into my final point, I quickly wanted to mention here that Isaiah Livers, he is someone who I feel like is a pretty good playmaker and also someone who is very efficient. He is very efficient with his scoring. He knows when and when not to go for shots. He doesn't really take any dumb shots like that. And also in terms of playmaking, he does have playmaking ability to him. So as a two-way guard, a guy who's extremely efficient, and also someone with playmaking ability, he is a very solid combo guard. And then the last point that I'm going to mention is his athleticism. He is someone who has fairly good athleticism. He can move up and down the floor easily. He can dunk the basketball. He can run in transition. Along with his length, I feel like he also does have defensive potential because of his above average athleticism and his height and length. So I feel like he has defensive potential. Now let's move into the negative portion of the video. So the first thing that I'm going to say is overall handle. His handle is not something that I would consider his strong suit. He really needs to work on his handle to move towards the NBA level because he is someone who can't really create shots for himself. He's not someone who can do dribble moves and have open space for himself so that he can hit his three-pointers. He is someone who needs off-ball screens, on-ball screens. He is not someone who can really create a shot for himself, so he needs to work on his handle to move to the next NBA level. And then my next point, it just goes back into the point that I just mentioned, just scoring off the dribble, man. He is just not someone who can score off the dribble by himself. He needs to work on that. And the next thing that I'm going to mention, I mentioned this in the positives portion of the video, but this is also a negative that I feel like he does need to work on, and that is his athleticism. I say he's slightly above average in terms of his athleticism, but I feel like that is something that needs some work as well because he is a forward. He's a guy who's going to be a small forward, and he's going to be going up against other small forwards in the NBA. And if you watch the NBA, you know all these small forwards are extremely athletic and quick and fast. You look at someone, even not the top athletes in the NBA, just look at someone like OG Anunoby, or look at someone on the Magic like Jonathan Isaac. There are so many quick, strong, talented, athletic small forwards in the NBA. I feel like someone like Isaiah Livers really needs to work on his athleticism, really needs to get in the gym and improve on his strength and quickness and all of that type of stuff so that he can compete on the NBA level, because I did say that he has defensive potential. I did say that he is a solid defender right now, but once he gets to the NBA, I feel like he's going to get beat on a lot of plays. He's going to get blown by on a lot of plays by point guard, shooting guard, small forwards, just because he's not that fast, he's not that quick. I don't know if he'll be able to keep up with them. But he still does have defensive potential, so it's not all bad there. So overall, man, I'm going to wrap this video up right here. Someone like Isaiah Livers, I would consider it, with our first pick in the second round, I feel like we need to take a big, we need to take a center. With our second pick, I would probably end up considering the power forward position if someone like JT Thor is still there, or someone like Isaiah Todd if he's still there at the power forward position. And then with that final pick, I doubt Isaiah Livers would be there, but if he is still there somehow, I would take a shot on someone like Isaiah Livers. He's like a mini Sadiq Bey. Like, he is nowhere as good as Sadiq Bey. He doesn't have the handle. He doesn't have the defense. He doesn't have the athleticism. of Sadiq Bey, but he does have the jump shot, and he does kind of feel like a baby Sadiq Bey, but he's nowhere near on that level. So if we take him with our final pick in the second round, if he somehow falls there, because I doubt he falls there, but if he somehow falls there, I think he's someone who's like a baby Sadiq Bey. He is someone who I would say he's like a 3-and-D player, but not fully there yet. It'll take a few years for him to really get going in the NBA. But picking up someone like him, it'll be beneficial to this Pistons squad. Adding another guy who's similar to a 3-and-D type player would be very cool for this roster. I just don't know if I would take him early in the second round, because if you guys have watched my other draft videos, there are so many other talented bigs in this draft. No offense to him. I know he's a Michigan guy. I love all Michigan guys, but there are just so many talented players. So Pistons fans and University of Michigan basketball fans, let me know how y'all feel in the comment section below. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Thank y'all for 2K, and I'm out.